Yeah, got a show for y'all.
Got a damn good show.
Cory Booker is on The View. And before we get to the show, hey, we only got 3 days left in our giveaway.
Yeah.
And right now, when you enter to win, you get 25 times the interest. We've never done that before.
Never did it. Anything to get entered to win, all you gotta do is buy some from our website. You get entered to win the Ford Raptor and the red Jeep Rubicon.
Yeah, because it's the last couple of days we do that. Yeah. All right, let's get to the show.
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. It's enough for me. 12 hours now I'm standing and I'm still going strong because this president is wrong.
Do you hear the echo? Nobody's in there. Everybody say, you know what? I had enough of this. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It was all this was political theater.
Yeah.
Almost 20 hours. We have laid out what they're trying to do. 20 hours. I want to stand more, and I will, but I'm begging people, don't let this be another normal day in America.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
Strom Thurmond held the record, another Democrat.
Right.
And both speeches, it was for all the wrong reasons.
Right. He actually filibustered civil rights.
Yeah, and what is he doing?
And he's filibustering wasteful spending.
Well, he didn't really filibuster. He's just political.
So they call it
political
filibuster.
theater. Yeah, but it wasn't actually a filibuster.
Yeah, it wasn't a filibuster.
But this dude's up there talking. He wants illegal aliens to live in the country, and they want the bureaucracy to keep spending and bankrupting the country. That's what he's talking
They want
for.
men and women's sports.
Yeah, just nonsense. Look at this clown.
People are actually clapping for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Democratic Senator Cory Booker.
I ain't got time for this.
So,
You'll have some Jersey up in here.
oh yeah,
Jersey
so
up in
it's
here.
nice to see you sitting.
Yeah.
Did you get any rest?
I have, but as you know, it's been go, go, go.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be one in the number of millions of people that were standing in rain, standing across the country, coast to coast, and speaking up. So I've been pushing it still.
How happy were you to see all the folks that came out around the country?
Yeah.
It was for me food for the soul.
Yeah.
You didn't see partisan band waving. You saw Americans standing up for Americans. Because we really are at a moral moment, as we've been generations past in the suffrage movement, the civil rights.
Americans standing up for Americans. Y'all standing up for illegal immigrants.
Yeah, y'all standing for trade deficits. That's what y'all standing up for.
Look at all these idiots.
Well, it's not surprising that so many people show because 48% of America did vote for the morons.
Yeah.
So
Movement, the labor movement, the LGBTQ movement, so many movements we've seen Americans join arms, a rainbow coalition, standing up for what's right.
And this ain't a one-time thing. This is going to stay. This is going to stay with Americans every day until this stuff is fixed.
And America, as you said, America was watching, but your mom was also watching. She's no stranger to good trouble, and she was watching when you did this. And when did you realize you actually had enough left in the tank to be able to go the distance? And the question we all want to know is, how did it feel for you to break the record of Strom Thurmond, that racist who set the record filibustering the Civil Rights Act of 1957? I hope he's turning over in his grave.
well, can you really say he set the record? Can we really say he set a record? He didn't filibuster anything. It's just all political theater.
Yeah. Well, they got to give it to him. He's a Democrat.
Oh, and he's black, too.
Yeah, you got to give it to him.
So first of all, about that, what I loved about the civil rights movement leaders that I love is they never let Bull Connor pull them so low as to hate Bull Connor. Yeah. They never let Strom Thurmond pull them so low as to hate him. And sometimes God uses people in ways that they don't even know. He planted a seed that a generation later somebody would get a chance to show that the hateful words that he was espousing won't win the day. And so I'm grateful for that. But, you know, you asked me physically, we all know that the body has limits, but the spirit has none. If you have a big enough why. And what I know from my work in Newark when I was coming up as mayor and now my work in New Jersey is that there are a lot of people who've worked 2 8-hour shifts and they pick up the third.
Yep.
You know, there's a woman I named, they called her Mama Tasha at an IHOP in Bergen Street that would pick up another shift
He still ain't
and keep
talking about
going
nothing.
past her physical restraints because she had a big enough why. For her, it was her 3 kids. There are medical professionals and nurses assistants that pick up that third shift, work a full around the clock. So I'm grateful for the love and attention towards me, but we need to center those people who are working full-time jobs, catching that extra shift, and still in America, they're not making ends meet because we have a nation that has tremendous wealth, but we have not found a way to be there for folks and put stresses on folks in this country that are not on other countries. Our competitors have paid family leave.
Yeah, they do.
Our competitors have the ability to stay out more than 2 weeks after you've had a baby. There are so many things that aren't.
How can you do that, idiot, when you signing legislation to send billions of dollars to Ukraine? Hundreds of millions of dollars to Central America. All these billions of dollars to fund transgender hamster research. That's why we can't do it. The bureaucracy that y'all protesting against. That's why we can't do it.
Aren't right in this country, and we all need to let that motivate us not to sit complacently and just accept this as the way it is.
Stop it. Dude talking about the working class people. They had nothing to say when Biden was in office, when inflation was through the roof.
Well,
Why is it a problem now when Trump's in office?
Well, it's not his fault. It's Biden. He did everything he could.
But it's Trump's fault.
Everything's Trump's fault.
We need to stand up and start showing that we can form in America. We can redeem the dream of America for more people through our activism.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, Senator, people have been looking to the Democratic Party for a fighter, for a resistance leader, for an opposition party, and you gave them that. So thank you.
Really?
You called this a moral moment, and on the floor you invoked John Lewis saying, if it is to be, it is up to me. So there have been mounting calls for fresh Senate leadership, myself among them. So why not you?
Well,
Democrats are racist. They don't want them.
You know why they don't want him? Because he doesn't come off like a man's man.
Yeah. He comes off like Waltz.
Yeah, he comes off feminine.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning his masculinity. I'm just saying he doesn't feel like a man to me or anybody except on the left. Nobody's going to take him serious.
Yeah.
That dude just did the longest speech ever just about absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Just lying.
Yeah.
you know, Ella Baker said it so famously, we are the leaders that we've been
himself. That's what he did.
And Americans, we don't need a title to lead. You don't need a position to lead. We all have the capacity to lead. And, you know, during the Affordable Care Act fight in 2017, when in that case it was 20 million Americans that could have lost health care. Now with Medicaid, it could be 80, 90 million Americans that lose.
Oh, Trump's going to take away old people's Medicaid or whatever. They still going with that. I guess it works for them.
They're going to take your Social Security, too. They're going to take all that.
How would a Republican ever win an election?
They took my Social Security. They just took it. I was making $1,200 a month. Now I only get $200 a month.
Yeah.
Lose health care. But in those days, I would like to say it was Senate Democratic leadership through our devastatingly articulate eloquence that persuaded John McCain. But that's just not true. It's just not true. He famously put his thumb down because Americans, I saw these kids with disabilities in wheelchairs rolling up to senators and speaking truth to power. And so if there's anything that real leaders do.
Y'all couldn't stand for that one kid that's fighting brain cancer during Trump's State of the Union speech. Y'all couldn't even stand for him. Now all of a sudden, y'all care about sick children with cancer or disabilities.
Yeah. That's how Democrats operate.
Leaders. And this is what I aspire to be held to this measure, or those that don't say, follow me. They're the ones that inspire other people to realize that they are leaders and their voice is needed.
Yeah, so important. Senator, it seems like there's a natural...
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize these shows.
Yeah.
At certain parts of the show, they'll have this applause sign that flashes on.
Yeah. That's all orchestrated by them.
Yeah.
Kind of groundswell of energy. The Democrats clocked a big win in last week in Wisconsin. Over the weekend, protesters in over 1,000 cities, all 50 states, rallied against the president's policies. So what happens now, and what should Democrats do to capitalize on this momentum?
Well, again,
What momentum?
They don't have no momentum.
You don't got no momentum. Y'all lost like an extra 2 seats.
No, and y'all lost every swing state.
Yeah, what momentum do you have? What a bird brain.
I know we are living in a really tribal moment where we talk about terms in that binary way. But what I'm hearing from is Republicans who are afraid that if they lose their Medicaid-funded transportation program for their disabled child, their whole economy falls apart. I'm hearing from these bold and noble Republican veterans that are saying, you are cutting 80,000 jobs. And now I, as a female veteran, am going to have to wait for basic gynecological care for months and months and months. And so I keep saying this, if we center this as a right versus left, then we're wrong. It's really not. It's not about right or left. It's about right or wrong. And we need to stand up and call this a moral moment. And so for my hope for my party is that we're less concerned about our party than we are concerned about the people we want to serve.
I love it.
That's all BS.
Yeah, that's all.
Y'all don't give a damn about the American people. All y'all care about is y'all's vision for America, men and women sports. They just had a bill and they voted against. They voted for to have men and women sports,
And they voted against taxes on tips, overtime,
Yeah.
and I think retirement plans. They voted against that.
Yeah.
But
Trump,
they try to say they voting for the American people.
yeah. Trump's putting more money in the typical American citizen's pocket.
Look at waitress jobs now. Those jobs are more lucrative because you make more money in the tips, and now you don't even have to pay taxes on that.
Yeah.
That's working for the American people.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Senator, markets are in free fall today. A lot of American wealth has been wiped out because of these tariffs that Donald Trump put in place. Now, some of your Republican colleagues have been outspoken about them and that it will hurt their constituents. Do you think that the Senate will act to reverse these tariffs, and are there enough Republican votes that you would be able to?
So the tariffs, Medicaid, you're hearing voices on both sides of the aisle, from Republican think tanks to some Republican voices coming out to say how much this is going to hurt Americans. Trillions of dollars of our wealth has been lost from 401 accounts and more. But I remind you, the most important thing I keep wanting to say, we didn't get suffrage because a bunch of men on the Senate floor put their hands in and said, okay, let's let women have the right to vote. Ready, break. No, a change doesn't come from Washington, it comes to Washington when the people demand it. And so this is a time where people need to help senators have backbone and say enough is enough. How long will we let this man wreak havoc with the...
If y'all don't know what's going on with the tariffs, man, it's reciprocal. Keyword, reciprocal. If they charged us a tariff, we charge them the exact same percentage.
Yeah,
if they take away that tariff, we take away our tariff.
Yeah.
Is it okay for other countries to tariff us and we don't tariff them?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
A lot of countries have built their economies on taxing the American people through tariffs.
Yep. We sell shirts, send them overseas. Dudes say, hey, man, I have to pay a 25%
Yeah,
tariff.
explain to them, like we would sell merchandise, right? And people in the UK and Europe would buy merchandise, right? We'd ship it out there, and then I'd get these angry emails talking about why I have to pay a $25 tax just to pick up this $50 order. So that's what your government's...
That's your government.
That's a tariff.
We don't charge that same tariff here in America.
Yeah.
Now we are, unless they remove that tariffs against us.
Yeah.
They're against this.
Yeah.
Our global economy, with our national economy, and the lives of people who can't afford the thousands of dollars a year this is going to add to their home kitchen table budgets.
Another crisis that we are watching is this administration is deporting and disappearing people to one of the world's worst prisons. I appreciate you having spoken about that during your speech. Yesterday, 60 Minutes did a report where they found that the majority of the Venezuelans that have been sent to El Salvador do not have records, criminal records. What is your reaction?
They're illegal. And I don't know how true this is. They're still illegal. They still need to go.
Yeah. Well, how cute. That's just a bullface. They're just lying.
Yeah,
How can you be in our country illegally and not be a criminal? You just said that these people have no criminal record. They're in our country illegally.
Yeah.
Working illegally, driving illegally.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
To this, what can be done?
I mean, it's a level of cruelty that's unconscionable that our country would do these things. It's a level of assault on the Constitution. Even the far-right jurist on the Supreme Court, Anton Scalia, said this is about due process. And when you're in the United States of America, everybody has a right to due process. And folks need to understand.
Due process for somebody to come in our country illegally?
Yeah, this is the thing, man. If you're here illegally, why are we wasting all this taxpayers' money on the court system to give them due process?
When they enter our country illegally, they're not a citizen. Why are we giving them that latitude?
Yeah.
We don't give that same latitude to American citizens. Why are we giving it to somebody who doesn't even have a right to be here?
That they often will go after people they perceive as weak first.
Yep.
They'll demean and degrade them. But no, a threat to a constitutional principle anywhere is a threat to your constitutional rights everywhere. If first they're going after disappearing people on the streets, but do not be surprised if they start eroding your values and rights too. We are all interconnected. We are
Hey, they're going to deport American citizens next. That's what he's saying.
They call it disappearing.
Yeah, they're going to start shipping out American citizens. Oh, yep, he's illegal too. Just get rid of him.
I'm looking for, my name is Rosalina Gonzalez. Yeah, my husband disappeared about 3 weeks ago. Can y'all help me?
We are all in this together. We need to stand up and not have a poverty of empathy in this country, but show a more courageous love for one another, for our neighbors.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
This dude is just full of crap. Cut it off. This dude, poverty of, what did he say? Poverty of empathy.
That's his way.
That dude he's really good at using words. That's why he can sit up there and talk and say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, his constituents like, man, he's so smart.
Poverty of empathy.
Yeah, these people suck. Thank God we got Trump back in office. He's making America great again.
Yeah.